What's up, guys, and welcome back to another Real Madrid review. Real Sociedad 1, Real Madrid 2, and it's safe to say, to start things off, what a disgraceful refereeing performance that was again. I thought the last game before the international break against Mallorca, it was shocking, some of the calls, it really was. But then this just took it to a whole new level that I wasn't expecting, that I didn't think would happen, but it did. So here we are. We are talking about it. Honestly, it's such a joke that we're in 2025 and we come on and we have to talk about controversial refereeing decisions when VAR is in place. So I suppose, what is the use of VAR if the referee constantly makes mistakes, makes bad decisions, and VAR isn't stepping in at all? VAR isn't saying you need to have a look at this because you may not have seen it. It may not have been too fast for you to see it, but you need to come to the monitor instead of making the decision yourself. And it was clear that obviously something was odd about this referee. I'm pretty sure, before this game, I saw an Instagram post that said that this referee was the referee who refereed Valencia 2, Real Madrid 2. If you remember that game, where Vinny Jr. was sent off after being racially abused, all of that stuff. But anyways, Xabi Alonso, I want to really thank Xabi, because to hold on to that lead for 55-60 minutes of the game, obviously he went defensive because he had no choice. Xabi Alonso had no choice, and we'll get onto the red card in a second. But obviously down to 10 men for about 60 minutes, about an hour of the game. Obviously really screwed him up there. So he had to go defensive. I totally get it, but still, to play defensive football, obviously when you have a 2-goal lead, as long as your opponent scores 1, the pressure's on again. So obviously Real Sociedad get a penalty, and then obviously for the last 35-40 minutes of the second half, it was pretty much all Real Sociedad doing the attacking and to defend. I really thought defending very well for 35 to 40 minutes. I'm not trying to talk bad about previous managers, but if this is last season, we wouldn't have seen the game out for about 15-20 minutes, let alone 35-40 minutes. So the mentality, the resilience, but most importantly the organization. These players are not bad defensive players. The defensive players aren't bad. They just need organization. They need a clear structure. Defend as a unit. Play for the team. Work for the team. We saw Vinny coming back sometimes. Mbappe coming back to try to win the ball back. Obviously, before we even went down to 10 men, we saw Vinny and Mbappe doing more pressing, coming deep, trying to win the ball. We saw a lot of teamwork that we have said before. For this team to succeed, these players need to be doing these stuff, doing these little bits that people might say it's not that important, it's not that big of a deal, but in truth, it is. And yeah, just a really good first half in terms of the football. And without going down to 10 men, Real Madrid could have easily won 3-4-0. I'm saying this really seriously, because that was the case. Real Sociedad were poor in the first half. Defensively, when you look at Caleta and I think Aritz Alastondo, they weren't able to keep up with Mbappe and Vinicius Jr. And then obviously down to 10 men, you drop deep, you play defensive. Real Sociedad get the ball, they get to create chances more and more, and obviously from then they have the momentum. But the first half I thought was very good. The second half I thought was good to just hold on. Really, it was really just about holding on to that lead, the really, you know, really short, a small lead. So yeah, I mean, I'm happy obviously to get the result. 4 out of 4 wins this season, 12 points, top of the Liga. You know, a ground like this is tough. I've said it in the preview. Real Sociedad, I know they didn't do that well last season, but traditionally they are a top 6 team. So obviously it's going to be tough. But Real Madrid, that mentality again is just incredible. Yeah, let's talk about the game. The goals. The first goal, I mean, it was just brilliant, wasn't it? I mean, obviously Real Sociedad give the ball away. And yeah, but Mbappe was there. He was there to take the opportunity to pounce on it. And you know, you can't be making mistakes like that when you make a back pass or pass to your teammate and you know you mess up. Mbappe's there. He's one of the quickest players in the world. And I'll tell you this. When I was watching the game, the first 45 minutes, the difference I saw, and I'm going to say this right, the difference between Mbappe and any other player who is quick is that when he gets the ball, when he's true, he's clinical. That finish is actually very underrated. I don't think people are going to talk about it that much. But it's very easy. I know he's basically in a 1v1, but it's very easy to hit it straight at the keeper, to hit it wide. You know, you overthink, you try to go far post, and then maybe you try to go near post, and you know, sometimes the keeper might save it, sometimes you hit it straight at the keeper, or sometimes you just hit it wide. But the composure to just say, I'm going to smack it right in the middle, nothing the keeper's going to do about it. And I think Vini Jr. is a good example because Vini Jr. had a couple of similar runs in behind in this game. First of all, he wasn't using his full sprinting speed, which Mbappe was. The acceleration, the sprint speed was just... And then the clinical finish that Mbappe has, I think Vini Jr. can take a couple of inspirations from it. Again, I thought Vini Jr. was incredible as well. But this goal, all about Mbappe, really. I mean, what a player. And that's 4 goals now this season for Real Madrid. And then he gets the assist. Brilliant play. Brilliant play. Mbappe and Arda Güler are just, you know, they're just playing so well, man. And I mean, it's a brilliant finish from Arda Güler as well. Mbappe does so well to just lay it off for Arda Güler. And you know, you look at this game, 2-0 up. Real Madrid have the momentum. They're playing really well just before halftime. Yeah, obviously prior to this, and obviously this is with 10 men by the way. Obviously prior to this, Dean Huijsen got the red card. Now, was it a red card? No. Now, if you look at this footage, or if you go back and look at the replay of this action, Real Sociedad kicked the ball out to clear it. Now, I think it was Oyarzabal, wasn't it? I don't know who it was. Yeah, I think it was Oyarzabal. He's preparing to get on the run to try to get the ball, right? Huijsen goes behind him. Yes, he pulls his shirt a little bit. But this was near the halfway line, man. This was near there was Militao was covering, and Huijsen was saying this to the referee. There's 2 men. It's not the final man. It's not a clear goal scoring opportunity. It's not. It is not. So my question is, why did the referee not consult VAR? Now, on first glance, okay, you see that incident, you assume it's a red card. You assume that because it looks like the Real Sociedad player is true on goal. But when you look back, he wasn't. Militao was right there behind Huijsen, who was going to come across to cover off Oyarzabal. So I don't understand how and why we have VAR in this league, but it's never used. It's never used, and it's crazy. It's crazy that the referee makes a decision and VAR doesn't step in, and VAR doesn't see that, or the people on the monitor, the people on the VAR control, don't see and say, you might want to have a look at this. You might want to have a look at this because we think that he isn't the final man. We think he's in the last man. Come have a look at this. Now, I hate this narrative that when the referee checks VAR, the decision tend to get overruled. No, I'm not expecting the decision to be overruled every time. In fact, if the referee had come to VAR and still decided it's a red card, fair enough. Fair enough, and we'll be saying, okay, the referee made up his decision, went to VAR, had a good look, and then decided, I believe it is a red card because he did pull his shirt slightly. But he didn't even do that. So why are we using VAR then? What is the point of having VAR? That is the problem. That's the issue. The decision was criminal. The red card was criminal. But the fact that he didn't even consult VAR and the VAR control room didn't say come and check VAR is a joke to me. It's a really, really, really clear joke. Really, really terrible. Second half, Real Sociedad get a penalty. Cross comes in. I think it was Baranexia, wasn't it? And then he hits Carvajal's arm. I've said this before. That's a penalty. As long as he hit the arm, it's a penalty. As long as it's contact, with the arm, and it wasn't unintentional, I suppose. I mean, it could have been prevented. That's what I'm gonna say, right? Definitely a penalty. Unfortunately, and Oyarzabal scores. And then, from then on, Real Sociedad threw the kitchen sink. Real Madrid went defensive. Obviously, at halftime, changes were made. We saw Brahim Diaz go off for Fede Valverde. And Fede Valverde to sort of form a diamond midfield, sort of, and also provide some sort of width. As well. Obviously, Fede Valverde didn't start this game. Obviously, he went. Pretty sure, he did. Went. With Uruguay, didn't he? But Fede Valverde has been playing a lot of games, so obviously it was understandable that he wasn't starting this. Anyways, it was also interesting to see Brahim Diaz start. To be honest, it was very interesting. And then second half we also saw Raul Asensio and Fran Garcia come on. I think was it Vinny Jr. and who else was it for? It might have been for Dani Ceballos if I'm not wrong. And then I think later on we saw Arda Güler and Carvajal come off, if I'm not mistaken, for Trent and David Alaba, who is finally back to play some minutes. He got a couple of minutes, nothing special, but it's good to see him back on the pitch. But the starting 11, Courtois, made some big saves. He was again the savior. I mean, Thibaut Courtois, let's not forget some of the saves he was making in the second half. That one-on-one chance, I forgot who it was, but one of the Real Sociedad players were through on goal, and Courtois came out and made a good save. The penalty, again, penalties are 50-50. To be honest, and you can't blame him for that. Carvajal, yes, he made a mistake. He gave away a penalty, but he's still on the Carvajal. He's still the captain, so we're not gonna say much about that. In general, I thought the back five were actually very good. Obviously, Dean Huijsen makes the mistake, but I don't even think that's a red card. Obviously, it's something to learn and take away that look how the officiating is. Don't do that again. But you can't really blame him, and I'm not even sure how long it's gonna be out for. 1 game, maybe 2 games. Who knows, man? Militao I thought was very good. Honestly, I thought it was one of the better Militao games I've seen in a while. Um, Obviously, he had a couple of collisions in the first half. They were just trying to injure him. Pathetic, really. But I thought Militao stayed strong. The main centre back for the whole game, really, and did a lot of good stuff. Alvaro Carreras I thought was a little bit more, underwhelming defensively today, but still had a good game. Still did very well. The combination with Vinny Jr. and overall had a good game as well, right? Chouameni and Denis Ceballos with Arda Güler. Obviously, Denis Ceballos coming in to replace Fede Valverde in the starting 11. And it's interesting, really, because Denis Ceballos was a player that we were talking about leaving. And obviously, his move fell through. He didn't go to Marseille, and there were talks about him going back to Real Betis. That didn't happen. But maybe it might happen in January, maybe next summer. But I thought he did well. I thought Chouameni had a good game. Obviously, had to move into centre back to cover for Huijsen until half time. But at least until you saw Raul Asensio come on, which I was a little bit surprised Raul Asensio didn't come on earlier. But I suppose Xabi Alonso didn't want to fully go defensive at half time until he had to when Real Sociedad scored. Arda Güler was easily a man of the match contender. To be honest, that link up play with Mbappe was brilliant. He's got a good goal again. Second goal of the season, I believe now. So yeah, very, very good stuff. And then Brahim Diaz had 45 minutes. I think it's very tough to judge. He didn't really had much on the ball to do. It was a lot on Mbappe, Arda Güler, and Vinny Jr. So we'll cut him some slack. Did well for the minutes played though. I don't know why people are saying Vinny Jr. played badly. This is one of the first few times in a while that I thought Vinny Jr. actually pressed, actually ran for the team, actually tried to do what we know he can do, the flair, trying to take on his man, trying to do stuff instead of always looking at the back pass, looking to pass to the left back, looking to just, slow things down. He was actually trying to do things. So I thought Vinny Jr. was actually very good today. No GAs, which probably paints a lot of people's, beliefs in how good a player is. If they score goals, they are good. If they don't, they are crap. Absolute nonsense. Vinny Jr. was good. And Mbappe, my man of the match. Yeah, my man of the match, obviously Kylian Mbappe. Brilliant player. I would say, I said it in my FC26 ratings thoughts. He's definitely the best player in the world, along with Mo Salah. Like, he's just a freak. Man. Like, brilliant. He got a yellow card for being down. By the way, like, I don't understand. He was down. He was not feeling too well. I think he might have suffered a little bit of an injury of some sort. But to get booked for that, nah, come on, man, that was a joke. But yeah, like I said, we also had Alaba, Fede Valverde, Trent, Raul Asensio finally making a La Liga appearance this season, and then Fran Garcia as well. Rodrigo obviously didn't come on. I think if the game was going in a right direction, he would have. But because Real Madrid were trying to be conservative, he couldn't. Same as Gonzalo Garcia, same as Franco Mastantuono as well. But look, these players are going to get minutes against Marseille this upcoming midweek. And then next weekend is Espanyol at the Santiago Bernabeu again. So, look, obviously we've got some tough games coming up. Midweek against Marseille this week. Next weekend, Espanyol. Next Tuesday, Levante away. Next weekend, Atletico Madrid away. And then the following midweek, I believe, is Kairat Almaty in Kazakhstan. Then the following weekend, it's Villarreal. Then we have another 2-week international break from then. So look, this is the adrenaline of the season. We're coming in. This is the next stretch, and then one international break, and then from then on, it's just that sort of November, December, January, February, and then you get to the end of the season. So it's gonna be really, really fast, but very exciting as well. But yeah, really, really happy with the victory. We look forward to the Champions League now. But yeah, that's gonna be it for today. Hope you guys have enjoyed today's video. Hit the thumbs up, subscribe to the channel on already, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.